Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, sunshine. Happy Thursday to ya. Happy Thursday to ya. Listen, I had such a good afternoon, I have to say. I went out to have like a nice little matcha cinnamon roll meeting with a friend of mine. It's actually one of the first friends that I made when I moved over here to Paris, actually. And we were just talking about life, YouTube, things like that. And it was a really, really great time. Like, do you know like those like super low maintenance friendships where you see each other a couple of times a year, but every time you see each other, you're supposed to meet up for like 2 hours, but it turns into 4 or 5, like something like that, you know, like it had to be a hard stop because otherwise I could talk to him all day long. So I was telling him about like buying my new camera, trying to figure out like this new tripod, a lighting situation, building out a new deck, all that stuff. And so he's in a similar vein as well. And so it was really cool to be able to connect over that. And I'm looking forward to seeing him again after the holidays because I leave in about a week and a half for the holidays, and like my, final days here in Paris are already like super booked out. His as well. And then we'll be gone for about a week to Sevilla. And then when you come back, it's still holidays. He's going to be away for his own vacation. I think he's going to Portugal. And he's either going to Portugal or he's going to Ibiza. I don't remember. He hasn't confirmed one of the two yet. He's still figuring it out. So it's going to be like a January thing, which is so crazy, right? But, c'est la vie. That's the holiday season. Ça se passe comme ça. That's the way it goes. Anyway, nice to see y'all here for today's episode of the show. We've got a hell of a lot to talk about, and I'm so here for it. I was hoping to take my hair out after the weekend because I got so many things to do, but I said, you know what? I am so over it. I have to go and do this tomorrow. I think Friday is the only day this entire weekend where I don't really have anything going on. So after I finish my morning report tomorrow, I think is when I'm going to take my hair down, do like a nice Ayurvedic treatment and everything, and then just let it breathe for a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that before getting new braids for my Christmas vacation. Anyway, nice to see y'all here. We've got Angie and Jamie who are not feeling well, and I really, really hope that everything turns around for you guys. I'm so sorry you had to go to urgent care. An ear infection, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. I really hope you feel well soon, Angie. And I know Jamie's been talking to us about not feeling well since yesterday. I'm sad it's still going, but I'm glad that, you're slowly, hopefully feeling better, boo. Get well soon, you guys. Honestly, this cold and flu season is not for the faint of heart. Also, good morning to Ronnie, Gahara, Deshauna, Venetia, Michelle, Amelia, Melissa, buenos dias, Chica, Kelly, Princess, K Minor, Evie as well. And Evie, Funky Dineva spilt that tea. We're going to get into that. I got the video of Funky Dineva spilling the tea and everything, okay? Good morning, Shelby. Good morning, Ona. Good morning, Gwen, as well. And good morning, Jody. Good morning to Michelle. Who else we got in here? I love to try to get through as many names as possible. Good morning, Tash. Good morning to Snaps. Bunny, nice to see you back, boo. And hi, Cynthia. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Good morning, Allie. Oh! We've got a birthday. We got a birthday. We got a birthday. I love it. Happy birthday to you too, Snaps. What are you doing to celebrate your birthday? You know the deal. Come let us know how you're going to be celebrating. Happy birthday to you. And thanks for sharing your birthday with us here at the Morning Report. Let's go, you guys. Let's wish our boo, two Snaps, a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Let me just repeat what I said. I said, you love to see it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Two Snaps, for being here to celebrate your birthday with us. Two Snaps says he is 42 years old. I just know you age like fine wine. And thank y'all so much for wishing our boo Two Snaps a happy birthday. Wow, how nice to have your birthday fall just before the weekend. Love, love, love it, love it. What are we, Sagittarius season? You are a Sag. Happy birthday, Sag. So nice to be celebrating with you, boo. You guys, why don't we get into the stories for today's episode? We're really going to be raking them in. I know that we're going to be going, and hey, Money Swipers, nice to see you again, by the way, boo. We're really going to be going over. I have to let y'all know right off jump. Okay. We've got to talk about the Todd situation. It turns out that Todd's scheme was to cheat on Kandi, allegedly, right? So Fankita Neva has some information on who Todd's alleged mistress is. Us Weekly Magazine also was the first to report about Todd's wandering peen as well. Then we've got to talk about Monique and all the tea that she's spilling. So, well, actually, some of this tea is really shocking and alarming. So definitely a trigger warning there. She's talking about some of the alleged violence that she experienced in her marriage to Chris Samuels. And she also spilled some tea on the Cookie Monster and how the Cookie Monster is actually so deranged that she was spreading rumors about having an affair with Chris Samuels. Imagine like implicating yourself in that, like running around like, yeah, I'm a mistress to a married man with young kids. Hell, like, like that basement gutter level, sewage level self-esteem to be running around putting that on yourself. Like nobody wants to be known as a mistress, right? Nobody with healthy self-esteem and boundaries. Anyway, Two Snaps is working. I'm sorry. Listen, we got to look at it from a bright side, right? You're making that money today to spend this weekend to celebrate your birthday. And according to Cami, you are Tyra Banks's birthday twin. So don't forget to smize. I love that. Oh, Lordy, Todd. You know, this is what happens when you give a man a chance sometimes. A man that does not deserve you. Listen, Kandi is a beautiful woman, okay? Maybe Todd didn't feel that way based off the way he was always obsessing about her RHOA co-star Portia, instead of his own wife. But to me, she's a very beautiful woman who has taken such good care of herself. She's such an intelligent woman as well. Cough, cough, that some other people can't say. And in my opinion, that counts for a lot, and that goes very far. She's so generous. She was buying him blinged out Rolexes, 6-figure cars, all sorts of things, right? And on top of that, she was letting him slang that D around Atlanta with her permission. Yet he still allegedly decided to do some of that without her permission. Listen, God bless you guys with these open relationships, open marriages and whatnot. But please, please, please think long and hard about it, because one thing about some people, you give them an inch, right? Especially if they only have 1 inch and they need something to help blow up their ego, they will take a damn mile. And this is a classic example of that. It also reminds me of Paula Patton, Robin Thicke. That man was allowed to do anything he wanted, right? And he is a freaky frog. And she was allowing him to do like anything, but with her permission. And what did he do? Something without her permission. Allie says, Todd was trying to pull a Wendy Williams ex-husband, that nonsense Kevin business, right? He really thought that he was going to pull one over on our girl Kandi. Listen, one thing about Kandi is she does not play about her money. So I don't think he's going to be able to get away with what he's trying to, right? To eliminate or invalidate that prenup. Shelby says, when you open your bedroom, is it really such a surprise when someone goes rogue? Exactly. I don't believe in this type of stuff. You guys already know that. I am a prude. I am. I was about to make a joke. Missionary only with the lights off, 30 seconds. No, I'm joking. But I am a prude about this sort of open bedroom, all this other type of stuff. I don't believe in it. You hear too many stories about like the guy pretty much always, right? Running off with one of the people that you've opened your bedroom to, or just a random person, because they now, they have just been doing that, thinking and fantasizing about people openly and screwing other people who aren't you. And it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's a good precedent to set, but I digress. Kelly says, so Aunt Bertha was right all along. It was a plot and a scheme. Remember her signature thing. And he absolutely does give K-Fed vibes. Listen, he wants all that child support money. And if he can get more child support in another state, just know that he is going to be fighting to be able to pick up those kids, go to another state, and get some more damn money. Oh, Lord have mercy. Short man with a big head. And now look at him. His head from big to bigger. So let's get into this story. So People magazine is the one that first came out and said, and I quote, Kandi and Todd had been having marriage troubles for a while now. Kandi was not happy because she found out that Todd had been talking to other women behind her back. She had no idea. And so, I wonder if he was trying to use one of those gaslighting excuses like, oh, I wasn't doing this behind your back. I'm allowed to sleep with other women, remember? I was just trying to recruit her and see if you like her, like that sort of a vibe. I would not put it above him to be trying to play with her mind, right? In order to make her feel like it's acceptable that he's running around talking to other women. Kandi has slowly but surely been opening up a little bit more about the demise of her marriage. In fact, just yesterday, she posted a reel which entailed a bunch of photographs of herself, friends, family over the past year or so, and a caption that explains all of the inner turmoil that she had been going through, despite her big smile in all of these photos and her just showing up and out to be out there to support her people, her village, right? So this is one of the photos that you see in the reel that she posted, and the caption says, and I quote, "This is what I look like when I'm going through something. I show up for my family. I show up for my friends. I show up to handle my business. And I show up with a smile, all while on the inside, I'm emotionally broken. In every pic of this video, I was internally dealing with something life-changing that most of the people in the pics with me had no clue of my inner stress and sadness." That's really heartbreaking. The idea that she was dealing with all this and pretty much nobody knew, that's so devastating. This is not being fake. This is just how I deal with things. I internalize and deal with it alone. I am the poster child for the saying, check on your strong friend because you never know what they are going through. I normally don't like to share stuff like this, but I was listening to this old song that I wrote years ago and felt like it perfectly described how I feel. Listen, Kandi. I love me some Kandi, y'all. I love me some Kandi. So it's really sad to see her in this state. She's such a loving, kind, and listen, this is in my imagination of her because I don't personally know her, but just based off of what I've seen about her over the years, she's such a fair, kind, loving, supportive, just wonderful person. She treated that man like gold. Granted, she allowed her mom to talk some ish about him and his mama, right? And his daddy. However, she was really nice to him personally, right? She was making it rain on Todd, all that stuff. And, she really leveled up his whole entire life. Todd's life would not at all look anywhere near what it looks like today if he didn't marry Kandi, right? All that time he spends in the glam room, speaking on women's business, arguing with women, that's all thanks to Kandi's money. If he was relying on his own money, he would have had to be at work. And to think that she gave him all of that, upgraded his entire life, everything, allowed him to screw other women with her permission and participation, and he still allegedly ran out there and cheated. Oh, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And Kayla, I do agree. It is kind of giving he cheated. I'm sorry, Kandi. I hate this for you, girl. I really, really do. Gwen says, heading into the bushes. Well, thanks for reading us from outside the bushes, B. And Gwen, and good luck to your cat. That sounds really scary, the IV fluids. East Awesome says, guys, Todd Tucker doesn't cheat. However, Marvin Tucker, his alias, does cheat all through the Atlanta street. Shout out to Big Portia for warning us years ago. And one thing about Portia is, to me, I see her like Giselle, people who just lie just to lie. You know what I mean? So I never saw her as trustworthy. But now the more stories that come out, the more I'm looking at Todd, or should I say Marvin, sideways, right? Because where there's smoke, there is some sort of fire. And this just isn't looking good. There's too many sources. There was the Us Weekly source. Now we're going to get into Funky Dineva soon after I get into some of you guys' comments. Shelby made a really apt comment here, and I want to know how you guys feel about it. She's asking, if you don't let people in, are they really your village? It sounds like an island. And I think that's a fair point, right? Not to judge the people in Kandi's world, right? Because I don't know, like maybe they would have been people who would have been there for her, rallied around her and everything, but it's just not in her nature or something like that to open up in that way, right? Evie says, looks like her mom sniffed out Todd from the very beginning. And I think so too. Do you guys think that she actually really saw him as a user, or she just saw him as a threat to her money? Because the Mama Joy is, truth be told, is the biggest user in Kandi's world, right? Like, she, again, is the woman who was allegedly opening up credit cards and everything in that woman's name, right? So I don't trust Mama Joyce either. Just saying. BY says, Kandi asked the court for a gag order, to prevent Todd from being using the media against her. I had no clue about that, BY. Thanks so much for the tea. Dang, I didn't know. Wow. So I wonder if she's going to try to get some of these divorce documents sealed or anything like that, because a lot of information is coming out through their own court filings, right? Because as of now, they are somewhat public. Princess says, I really don't know what she saw in him. Like, something seems off. I think it was desperation. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's so scary, right? Because when you watch the special and you see how badly this man did not want to sign that prenup, how he tried every single trick and scheme he could to get out of signing it, you go, why is that? It's not your money that's on the line. So why are you so stressed out about this damn prenup? Why are you so against it, right? You say you're not here for her money, yet you seem mighty concerned about it. Farrah says he might be able to get alimony too, right? And I think this is something that Kandi wrote into the prenup, that she didn't want any of the alimony stuff. She said, none of us are getting alimony. We're all leaving with what we came with. And then we're sharing everything that we made in the marriage. And I thought that the stuff that they did in the marriage, like the plays, the restaurants, all that stuff, I thought that they were somewhat lucrative for this man to be able to live a pretty decent life without having to do all this. You know what I mean? Like, that's so crazy to me that, like, he's open, like, you know, trying to chase after this woman's money. It's so sad. Star says, men never have pure intentions when asking for custody. It's always to get back, i.e. Tawanda's husband and my sister's dad. I do hear about this a lot. I hear a lot about, like, men asking for custody to kind of punish the mom, and then, like, not following through, not showing up to court, or maybe they'll have more time with the kid, or the mom will just say, okay, because they know that the man's going to turn back around and be like, actually, like, this is a bit too much work. You go ahead. You got this, boo, sort of a thing, right? Dime Piece says, I wonder how Todd got caught. That's a good question. I did hear a story about him getting a little bit brazen with it, having a woman on his lap in a hotel lobby or something like that. But don't quote me, because, again, that was just a rumor, and I can't even tell you where I heard that rumor. Princess says, I wonder if they have a clause that if you cheat, you don't get ish. I hope so. I truly hope so. I think every single prenup should have that, right? Because sometimes women cheat too, right? So I think anybody in a marriage, whatever, if this marriage is to fall apart because you cannot keep it in your pants, you're running around screwing other people and whatnot, you don't get a damn thing. I think that is absolutely fair, right? Or you have to fork over a certain amount of money. Now, you guys, I did say that Funky Dineva put out a story or some teasers about what exactly is going on with Todd, the alleged mistress and everything. So go ahead. I've got a video clip. I want you guys to take a look. Keep on leaving your comments in the live chat. I'll be posting them up and getting back to you after the video. And don't forget to give this one, the stream, a like if you're enjoying it, okay? Catch you on the flip side.
Let's do a couple things. Y'all can stop it with the Todd got somebody pregnant rumor. Todd had a vasectomy very early on in their relationship. Okay. That's a little bit of tea. I don't know if I was supposed to tell that or not. Todd ain't got nobody pregnant. Now, Todd was around somebody's house. Okay. And I got her pictures. I know where she stay. And I know her name. But I don't want to bring no extra stress and duress around Kandi house. So I'ma hold it. Her name start with a H. You home wrecking whore. Because I want you to know I know who you is. And here's the thing. If I know who you are, and if the information got to me, it's only a matter of time. I'm giving it by next Wednesday before your face is plastered all over the internet. So, Miss H, you might want to get your ducks and your story in a row, because the way the internet is finna come eat you alive over Kandi Burruss, you gonna wish you never even winked at that man. Okay? Now, out of respect, with a K and not a T, out of respect, I ain't gonna want to be the one to break it, because I don't know what all going on around them people's house. And I don't want to add no extra stress around this lady house. Plus, I already don't broke the internet this week. I don't need to break the internet no more. Let somebody else break it. But the people is saying Kandi reportedly discovered that Todd was communicating with women behind her back before filing for divorce, and she had no idea. And the headline, according to the way the information don't flooded out my email box, the headline ain't lying.
Damn, y'all. So there you go. More people coming forward and accusing Todd of having an affair on Kandi. So I saw a comment. Let me go pull it up, okay? Evie was asking if it's Hazel. I guess you mean Hazel E from Love and Hip Hop. I would hope not. But them royalty streets are very narrow. So sometimes you might have to run into some people you know, right? I would hope not. I do remember seeing Hazel E's name pop up recently about her own breakup or something that she was going through. So I don't think that she would have been the one with Todd. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't she going through some kind of marriage divorce stuff of her own or whatever, and in her own kind of entanglement to where she wouldn't have time for Todd? But I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know. But listen, there's so many names that start with the letter H. There's Hannah, there's Helena, there's Helga, there's a lot of names that start with a letter H. So it really could be, anybody. East Awesome says, Todd doesn't have anything to lose. He agreed to take on half of all of the debt from business losses, and all but one restaurant shut down. Todd will need premarital assets to break even. For real, this MFing scam. Well, you know what? That is a good point. The restaurants have been shut down after dealing with their own fair share of lawsuits prior to shutting down. I didn't know that he had agreed to take on like the losses and could have had to come out of pocket for that. Just based off the image that Kandi has been presenting, I see as a really generous person who would have just paid all that stuff off, knowing that Todd ain't got it like that, you know what I mean, to be paying off those debts. But we'll have to wait and see as this stuff plays out in the divorce. But it's a very, very interesting theory. East also says 3+ closed restaurants equals tons of debt and on large expenses. Todd's net worth is $400K. And I do agree. If he had to take on like those L's on his own as well, or his own fair share, that could be a lot. But don't forget, like restaurants, I believe they are LLCs or whatever. So like, you listen, I don't know how these things work in the US, but isn't there a way to structure these sorts of businesses so if they go bankrupt or if they fail or whatever, it doesn't really impact you that much. You're not having to go pay out of pocket like completely or anything like that. Y'all let me know, okay? Another comment from East was about how Todd had it made: unlimited threesomes, room and board. He only had to pay utilities, unlimited access to small business investments, paid nanny, lavish vacations. He was living the dream. Exactly. He does not know how good, he didn't know how good he had it. And he is about to find out, especially if he fails at getting access to Kandi's money, right? Her premarital assets and everything. If he fails to get access to that, he's going to feel it real hard. Right? That loss of Kandi and her wallet. Bunny says, Kandi was too nice to Todd. I would never indulge a man like she did with Todd. She gave him money, cars, and trips alone. His birthday gifts were extravagant. And I agree. This is the hard part. When you as a woman make it to a particular level in life, right? Like, and you're trying to date, you're trying to find love and everything. Like, it's hard to find somebody on your level, right? And then, you find somebody who's got like some level of success, but it's not on your level. And so, unfortunately, when you get into those kinds of relationships and dynamics, you're the one who has to come out of pocket to kind of compensate for the income disparity between the two of you guys, which is brutal. It's brutal. It really, really is. Honestly, I feel for her. I truly, truly am heartbroken for her. She seems to be going through it. You never see or hear her talking about her emotions on this level, and she is letting it all hang out right now. I think that once the divorce finalizes, she is going to do like a speak on it sort of episode to really dig into what happened without sharing too much information, right? More H names, Helen, Hillary, something. There are so many H's out there. I hope it's not. I hope it's not Hazel E. Oh, okay. Y'all are saying Hazel, who was on RHOA. I do not remember a Hazel on RHOA. I'm gonna have to go ahead and take a look at that. Okay. I should listen. I'd be singing that too. Because what do you mean? I let you do anything you want. And you still manage to find a way to cheat. You know how hard it is to cheat when you have permission to be screwing other people? Like, you have to go very far out of your way to disrespect somebody on that level. You know what I mean? And so if that is the case, then I am totally behind Kandi deciding to like call it quits with him, because that is some serious BS. Because what do you mean? What do you mean you can do pretty much anything, and you're still gonna play me? So Hazel, I'm seeing, is that she's married to an NBA player, Draymond Green or something like that? That's the one y'all are talking about? Hang on, let me share my screen, okay, you guys? Listen, again, this is me breathing a sigh of relief because I am happy. Sorry to anybody named Helen, but this comment made me laugh so hard. Kahara said, Helens are trifling. It's got to be a Helen. That is hilarious. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen because I'm seeing a Hazel when I type Hazel RHOA. Again, I really do not remember seeing this girl on the show, but they're saying she's married to a certain Draymond Green. She is a very beautiful. I see her with Kenya over here. Is that the one that y'all are talking about? That could be a chick, but she's married. Why would she be trading up a tall NBA player for Todd? That I'm having a hard time with that. I got to say, y'all. East also said Todd and Kandi agreed to share profits and losses equally 50-50. They were doing that before marriage. I recently rewatched the 5-part wedding special on Peacock. Listen, I'm so close to finishing. I got to finish that. Thanks so much for reminding me. I was so burnt out yesterday. I was supposed to go back to the gym, but I just couldn't even move. We want to go into a little pizzeria up the street. We were supposed to go to this African restaurant. Y'all know I love me some African food. I wanted some loco, so fried plantains, but I was so tired I couldn't even do that. I was like, all right, we'll get some damn pizza. Oh, Lord have mercy. This is so brutal. Again, Kandi, I really feel for you, especially if this stuff is true. This is terrible. Becky says he used to know he had it made. His ego took over and he thinks he's bigger than Kandi. Loser. And I agree. You saw like the venom, you saw the vitriol, you saw the jealousy, you saw the bruised ego in all of those lame ass, what do you call it? Those videos they were posting on, from those glam room conversations. Like, what the hell is a man doing in a glam room criticizing women all day? You know what I mean? Like, go get a damn job. Like, this is so freaking weird. Why did he even want to be in there talking to them all day, every day? Like, it's just such loser behavior. I'm sorry, but go find something to do. Damn. You guys, anyway, I'm going to continue to keep an eye on this story. Funky did say that more information about the alleged mistress was probably going to come out by the middle of next week. So stay tuned. We will eventually be finding out who this alleged mistress is, okay? Trust and believe. One thing about that internet is they know how to find anybody. Even if you just show like a little corner of your pinky nail, someone will be able to track you down and find out everything about you, including your blood type and your social security number. Okay. Now, speaking of mistresses and whatnot, why don't we get into Monique Samuels from the Real Housewives of Potomac, right? She's everybody's storyline. Everybody wants to rile her up about her ex-husband that she does not care about for a storyline this season. And I love that she's truly letting these people know she does not give an F. Which poor, unfortunate soul is about to be lured into, the world of Chris Samuels, right? She's already seen and lived it all, and she just doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. So she has a book that's coming out January 4th. It's called Love Letters from Versions of Myself, right? And in that book, she talks about how Chris snatched her up one day and choked her, right? And a bunch of other things. So I've got a video of her promoting her book on Page Six's podcast. Well, actually, I've got 2 clips that I want to play for you. And then we're going to come back and talk about it, okay? Here goes.
OMG. Like it's gotten even worse. And what's interesting is I stayed pretty quiet and I tried my best not to bash because I didn't want it to affect our co-parenting. And he got to the point where he started saying very inappropriate things to the children.
Wow.
He told the children about the video that y'all saw. He actually described it to them. And I'm like, why are you telling, at the time they were 11, 9, and 6, why are you telling children these things?
Crazy.
Yeah. Twisting the narrative of why the marriage ended, made it like, oh, your mom was having an affair and she was cheating. And
No
that's
accountability, sir.
No
Listen,
accountability.
like, because, you know, it's one thing, like, you took accountability for why things maybe on your end.
Right.
But he hasn't been able to face the fact that you talk about the lack of affection,
Right.
the lack of intimacy. There was even one part in the book where things did get physical that you
Yeah.
described on one occasion
Yeah.
in the book that felt scary, but witnesses were there
Yeah.
to actually see him basically lift you up.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I think what had me the most was me rationalizing things afterward, you know? And it's like, well, I did kind of egg it on. I did kind of instigate it. And it's just like, all right, I'm going to just let it go.
Right.
And when you're in a marriage and when you've seen it growing up, it's almost like, yo, like, this is normal. Like, okay, we'll get over it. And that was one of the biggest things that led me to get to that point where I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. When I started to think about the fact that my children are witnessing me have behavior that's opposite of what I preach to them, which is self-love. And they're watching me run myself and deplete myself into the dirt. And this is being allowed, you know, and I felt like I just had to keep proving myself. And I'm like, wait, but we're married. Why should I have to prove myself to a person? You know, and we're supposed to be equal. So it's just been a very difficult situation. But the reason why I speak out and I'm talking more and more about it now is because I felt so alone going through it. I didn't realize that there were other people that had the same experience.
So there you go. That is some information that you're going to be reading in its entirety in Monique's book when it comes out in January. I do think that I would like to get a copy and read it for my channel members as part of our book club. We should be finished with the book that we're currently reading by then. So that could be very, very interesting for us to get into because that entire story is so shocking. You will really never know what people are going through behind closed doors, right? Because when you look at this couple from the outside, you go, damn, she is stunning. He is rich. He seems enamored with her and all this stuff. And you think that all is well, but no, all that glitters is not gold. And sometimes what's really going on is worse than you can even begin to imagine, right? She's also saying that Chris and Cookie are the people that were leaking that video of her hugged up on her former co-worker from the radio and whatnot. She said that she had sent that video to a friend who is no longer a friend. And then it got in the hands of Chris and another girl that she doesn't really trust. And I think that that's Cookie. And she said, speaking of that video, Chris would use it. He showed it to the children, said that the reason that he and Mo are getting divorced is because Monique cheated, all sorts of things. He really, really maligned her in front of their kids and whatnot, which is a terrible thing. And yeah, I really feel for Monique. I do also want to get into the part where she talks about Cookie and the weirdness of Cookie. But before I play this clip of Monique exposing Cookie's lies, her running around claiming to be Chris Samuels' mistress, and that Chris is only with Monique for their children, I want to remind you that Monique also exposed other lies that Cookie had peddled in the past, including the fact that she is the daughter of like a famous go-go artist or disco artist or whatever it was. Like, you know, it's somebody who allegedly just lies for the sake of lying and typically to be associated with celebrities. So let's go ahead and get into that clip and we'll talk about it on the flip side. And don't forget to like this stream if you're enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report.
You probably love to see that because she was pointing at Cookie, right?
She was.
You really don't. You don't like Cookie. We don't.
It's
yeah.
not that I don't like her. I don't trust her, and she is a person who I cut off along with my ex-husband while we were still married. So she was spreading all kinds of rumors saying that she was having an affair with Chris years ago.
Is she?
So
what?
Chris, yes. So
Cookie.
Chris, yes, and she told
He's in the
people,
cookie jar.
Wait, so she made that up? There was no truth to it?
So she was telling people that she was having an affair with my ex-husband, who was my husband at the time. And she said the only reason he was staying is because of the kids. She would tell people these things. And then we found out. Me and him called her, put her on speakerphone, and we said, listen, we're not fooling with you. We just had a crazy situation with a former friend, and the people who have told us this are credible people. We don't know why you're saying this, but we're done. So to my surprise, I come around and they're like, yeah, Chris and Cookie. I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Like, was
Why
it
is he talking
surprising
to
to
her?
you that he still messes with her?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was completely caught off guard, and I did not know. I didn't understand how this connection happened again.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, why is Chris calling Cookie? Why? I don't know.
So there you go, you guys. Monique is putting the Cookie Monster on blast. And I think, this gives a lot more context, right? So between the information that she shared about Chris allegedly getting, physically violent with her on at least one occasion, it makes sense as to why she does not give a crap. She's not feeling any kind of jealousy because she knows what the man is capable of, right? And she's already experienced it, and like she's closed her heart to him completely. And so now I'm really understanding like why she doesn't care, because oftentimes when people are going through divorces or this or that, like, yeah, it still sucks because this is somebody that you spent so many years of your life with. This is somebody you shared children with. This is somebody that you really thought you were going to be with forever. So even if like, it's over, you file these papers and all that stuff, there still is something in your heart that hurts when you hear that they've moved on or this or that, right? But in Monique, we're not seeing that at all, right? She could not care any less. And now I get it. I believe every single word that she is saying about this man and what he is capable of. Like, and that is such a terrible, terrible thing to have experienced. And I'm so devastated for her that that's something that she has allegedly experienced, in her life, in her marriage, in her relationship. Absolutely devastating. And so it also paints more of a clearer picture of the conversation that she had with Wendy on the show when she was talking about Cookie Monster is a damn liar. Y'all need to stop taking her word as gospel. She is a weirdo. She pretends to be related to people. And now we're finding out she also pretends to be the mistress of people. She wants to be with Chris Samuels so damn bad. And so now I understand why Cookie is so upset with Stacey, because, even when Cookie is talking about Stacey this, Stacey that, I'm like, why do you care, Cookie? Why do you care? If she's dating Chris, shouldn't that be like a nice thing for you or whatever? Because aren't you supposed to be Chris's friend? Like, and that's his girl. Aren't you? You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. And you don't like Monique. So shouldn't that be nice that her ex moved on and, left her in the dust? Like, why are you so upset? Why are you calling her funky? She said you're funky ass or smelling. Like, she essentially called Stacey smelly. And I was like, why? Like, why is she so triggered by this woman? And now it all makes sense. She wants to be the one getting folded like a pretzel by Chris Samuels. And it's maybe not happening, right? Can I ask you guys, do you think that like they at least slept together maybe once or twice or something like that? Because here's one thing. Okay, maybe Chris has a public type, right? Monique and Stacey, they're both very tall. They're both very slim ladies and whatnot, whereas Cookie is more of a juicy lady. So do you think that it is possible that he and Cookie have hooked up, and that's why she's got such, strong feelings towards Monique and towards Stacey, but it's not something that has come out publicly? Like, because to be honest with you guys, again, even though Cookie doesn't look like Stacey and doesn't look like Monique really, I wouldn't be surprised if the two of them did indeed hook up at a certain point, right? And that, it caused her to have such strong kind of like feelings that just do not make sense otherwise, right? So East Awesome says, guys don't have a type in private. And that is absolutely true, right? So I would believe if Cookie were to tell me, listen, girl, I let him clap my cheeks, I'd be like, oh, girl, go ahead. I would not think that she's lying, even though she's supposedly some sort of a pathological liar. Because one thing about men, they want to get down. They want to get down. So why not? Right? Stacey is competent. Yes, it feels like that. It reads like that. Because when you think about it, what has Stacey done wrong to Cookie for Cookie to be so upset? Like, there's literally nothing there. So now hearing that she has been trying to become a girlfriend to Chris, or maybe even more, it makes sense. B Chocolate says, in my opinion, Monique is the most beautiful on all the housewives across the franchise. She's stunning. She really is. In my opinion, she's the most beautiful one on RHOP and definitely amongst the most beautiful of all the housewives. She is stunning. Truly, truly, truly stunning. Face card has never declined a day in her life. And exactly, SW. All of this. So it's so nice to see the interviews. And I have to get into the after show. I know y'all have been telling me, East and everybody has been telling me to get into the after shows. And I think that that'll continue to kind of paint the picture of the stuff that's missing from the show. They only have so much time to push the storyline along, right? So it's nice to get that sort of added context. And C2 Snaps, not even a Monique fan, but he says, he says that, you know, there's no reason to believe that she is a liar. Bunny says, I'm confused. I thought Chris Samuels wanted to go to war with Giselle because of the cheating rumors. Why would he show photos of Mo cheating to his kids? Well, because that would be, the cheating rumors were that, yeah. Well, that's a good question, actually, right? It was the paternity of the baby that was called into question when that was obviously Chris's baby. So I think he didn't like the fact that Giselle was like disgusting enough to go to TV with this particular story, right? Because the trainer that Giselle was accusing Monique of cheating with is different from this co-worker from the radio that was in that video. So I don't think, you know, and they were in a good place. They were happy. They were still married. So of course he didn't want that kind of rumor out there, especially the paternity of his newborn baby. I would definitely say that might be the reason. Ronnie says Cookie and him deserve each other, period. Well, actually, no, nobody deserves, in my opinion anyway, nobody deserves, you know, somebody who beats other people, but Cookie this is so embarrassing for you, girl. This is so embarrassing for you, girl. Like, really, Kristen, like, come on, a married man. She does kind of look like her, doesn't she? You know, and she's so thirsty. She's trying so hard to encrust herself in this sort of like group and everything like that. And it's just, they're using her for this particular storyline and they're going to discard her. And she just doesn't realize it yet. I think that her only true friend is Karen Huger, because those two girls actually do hang out off camera and everything like that. Whereas with the others, it's just about getting that tea on Stacey and Chris Samuels. And again, they have no connection to Monique. They've got no connection to Chris Samuels. That's why they're going through Cookie. So why the hell do they care so much? Somebody please help me understand, right? BY says Ashley tried to activate Monique to attack Stacey. Ashley is dangerous. Exactly. She does this all the time, you know, and she is behind Sesame Street, popping Kiana with that glass as well. Like, she's always doing this and playing dumb, you know, and then she'll be like, oh, I have no idea. I can't believe things escalated to that level. Girl, you've been pushing for it so hard. This is your friend. And if they're really friends and close the way that Ashley wants us to believe, why are you trying to like trigger her over like her ex-husband who allegedly beat her? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just looks really bad on Ashley any way you slice it. And so I would love to see her try to explain her way out of this one. When he says, maybe next time, keep it in your pants. Exactly. Right. That's all. And I think this is in regards to the Todd. That's all he had to do. East Awesome says, meanwhile, all of Chris's kids look like him with a few of Monique's features. Exactly. Especially the little one that Giselle was trying to pass off as another man's child. Right. And apparently when Candace exposed her, apparently something that Giselle said was, damn it, like, you know, we're not going to be able to use that storyline because that kid, there's no denying that is Chris's child, right? By the way, you guys, speaking of channel members, again, I do have a channel membership section where I do exclusive videos for my channel members, and we mainly read books. So teen mom memoirs and stuff like that. And I'm going to be getting Monique's book as well so that we could read it together. It comes out January 4th. So if you guys would like to be there for that book club, please feel free to join the channel membership. Okay. So shout out to Kandi. Thank you so much for joining the channel membership. And thanks so much to Skies the Limit Consulting as well for joining the channel membership. Can't wait to see y'all over there. Now, you guys, what else do we have in terms of stories? By the way, Minnie says she was sick last week. Oh God, y'all are really going through it. So sorry, you guys. Get well soon to you all, okay? East Awesome was talking about Afghani food. It is so good. Listen, I love me some Middle Eastern food in general. Afghani food, Turkish food. I love Iranian food. The rice is to die for. All of it is so good to me. I mean, yeah, in my opinion, right? Okay, you guys, I'm going to take a look and see what story we have next. It's not even our final story of the day. Listen, I told y'all we're going to be going over an hour. Okay, so hopefully y'all have some time for me today. Hi to Jaleesa and Random Handle as well. Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of the show. Listen, it's better late than never. So nice to see y'all here. Now, let's get into our Kim Kardashian story, okay, you guys? So Kim Kardashian was accused of faking her Parisian robbery by pretty much everybody, right? And I feel bad. I got to be honest. I really thought it was a publicity stunt because this family, they do a lot of things for publicity, right? And they're known to do a lot of things for publicity throughout the entire span of their career, including makeup, different lies and whatnot. However, Kim has since been very adamant, and she's proven, she's gone to court and everything in regards to the 2016 robbery that she suffered in Paris. And so, a lot of the public did think that it was a publicity stunt and it wasn't real and all sorts of things, right? Because it didn't make sense that somebody so rich and famous would be, in a hotel with no security. And so very, very sad, very, very devastating story. I don't want to go into the details of what exactly happened, but according to Kim, in the latest episode of The Kardashians, she says that Kanye West actually was somebody who told her that she faked her robbery and that he did not believe her, and that was something that truly, truly devastated her and was a low point in their marriage. She said, and I quote, "My ex-husband had said, and you faked your robbery for a TV show. And he said that in front of all these people. That was a knife to my heart." And you see her tear up in the episode. She also followed it up with, "Just to think that someone wouldn't believe you, that's so close to you, that should know you, that should know how much that affected your life. It just really bothered me. You don't know who I am." Kind of after all, sort of a situation, right? And so, with her coming to Paris and everything like that recently to go through the court process of getting these people to face justice and whatnot, she said that she felt so great to finally be able to go to trial and face these people and hear their accounts and apologies. I'm like, see, guys, it was real. I'm happy it's over. And so, it was a lot. Our girl went through a lot, you guys. And again, I have to be honest, I really, really did not believe it was real. I just could not fathom that she would be kind of like a sitting duck like that with no security around her or anything like that. But ultimately with her going to court, with people being condemned and everything like that to jail time, to prison time and whatnot, kind of this money heist sort of gang and everything like that being exposed, it did indeed happen. And so, yeah, I definitely do want to publicly apologize to Kimberly Noel Kardashian for not believing her about that when the news first came out. But and I'm also quite sad to hear that her own husband also didn't believe her. And in fact, I'm actually quite surprised to hear that he didn't believe her because based off the way he was acting and everything that he was doing and the public information he was sharing, it seemed like he believed her, and that incident in that moment rattled him as well and shook him up as well. So I just don't understand how he was acting that way publicly, yet privately he's out here telling her, you're a liar, it didn't happen, it's not real. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, right? Public persona versus private persona. Oof. Storm says, I wouldn't put it past Kim, but it would be a slap in our faces that felt her pain when she was crying and all. If so, she should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, right? But ultimately, with the people who actually did rob her and everything like that being held accountable and whatnot, it most definitely did happen. I didn't know she wanted to let them off. I thought she was trying to get them, sentenced as much as, to the longest prison time possible. Bonjour, Ramster. Nice to see you. Et j'ai hâte de te voir dans le playback posse. Two Snaps is not a Kim Kardashian fan. Ali says all she does is lie. Womp, womp, womp. Jaleesa says, I think he believed her when it happened, but now he's insane. Well, that's a good point, Jaleesa. Maybe that's it. Because I'm like, am I misremembering things? Because I specifically remember Kanye wanting everything to change. He wanted everything to be minimum minimalistic. She had to stop stunting on the gram, showing off the bling and stuff like that. She wanted that too, but he was really adamant about it and whatnot. So I guess, yeah, maybe this is one of those other things that has changed along with his own mental health and whatnot, right? Poor Kim. That must have been absolutely terrifying. Truly, truly terrifying. Like, I can't even begin to imagine. Now, you guys, yesterday we got the breaking news about season 3 of Love is Blind couple Brennon and Alexa Lemieux decide. Why am I pronouncing it like that? Lemieux. Their last name is French and it means the best. So they announced, Alexa announced on her Instagram that the two of them would be going their separate ways. And we've got some more information as to why exactly that is. Some people have pointed out how interesting it is that he's the one who filed for divorce, yet she's the one who took it to the gram to go ahead and control the narrative and to get ahead of the story. I'm really curious about what it is that you guys' take on this situation is. Okay. So for those of you who didn't get to see the video, this is the announcement that Alexa had posted on her Instagram. It says, and I quote, "After much reflection and many heartfelt conversations, we've made the difficult decision to end our marriage. This choice was not made lightly, and it comes with a great deal of care, respect, and appreciation for the time we've shared. We entered this relationship with love and optimism, and we leave it with gratitude for the experiences that shaped us and the growth we each gained along the way. While our journey as a married couple is coming to an end, we remain supportive of one another, devoted to our daughter, and committed to navigating this transition with compassion. We kindly ask for privacy as we move forward and focus on our individual paths while keeping our precious daughter as our top priority." Their daughter's name is Vienna, and she's just about 1.5 years old now. So over there in the comment section, you see Colleen, a fellow Love is Blind season 3 divorcee, sending her love and support to Alexa during this difficult time. I have to admit, I was quite surprised when I saw this divorce announcement because Brennon seemed absolutely enthralled with her, truly, truly enamored. And she seemed happy to be up on that pedestal and whatnot. So I just never really saw this relationship breaking apart, especially after how long they had been trying to conceive and whatnot. They just had their baby, and so I thought that this was it for them. They were going to be happy, a nice, happy, beautiful little family. And so to hear that just so soon after, all of a sudden we are getting a divorce announcement. Well, now we've got some more information about why exactly they're divorcing, right? I don't remember if it's People Magazine or if it's Us Weekly Magazine. They said that in Brennon's court filing or his petition for divorce, he claimed that the marriage had become insupportable due to a conflict of personalities that prevent any reasonable expectation of reconciliation. And he also requested to keep any of the assets that he had before going into the marriage as well. He wanted to come to a written agreement with Alexa in regards to the custody of their daughter, Vienna, and the child support regarding Vienna. And the exact quote from the lawyer in the filing says, "If such an agreement is made, Brennon requests that the court approve that agreement and adopt it as the court's order. If such an agreement is not made, he requests the court to make orders for conservatorship of, possession of, access to, and support of the child." Possession of the child is crazy, though. I didn't know they were calling it that. Damn. All right. So on the show, we saw that prenup was a topic of discussion because Brennon came from a regular family. People say working class or this or that, but do you all remember Brennon's house on Love is Blind? I actually think his family had money too. That was a big, beautiful, stunning farmhouse. I don't think it's cheap, right? I think he and his family are just not ostentatious the way that Alexa and her family are. However, they got that money too, right? So yeah, a prenup was a topic of conversation. Brennon told Alexa he was willing to sign it. Just tell me what it is. I'll sign it, right? But Alexa said that she just didn't want one at the end of the day. So listen, I don't think this is going to be a messy divorce. Again, Brennon seemed to adore Alexa and whatnot and not want to be in it for the money. I actually believe him, unlike Todd. However, so yeah, that's why I want to say that I think that this divorce is probably going to be like everybody leave with what they came with. It might be the custody situation that's a little bit more complicated. However, we're going to have to wait and find out. Okay. So I am going to keep an eye on this and see how things continue to pan out. By the way, can you guys remind me what city they filmed this in? Brennon and Alexa, Colleen and Matt. Where were these people living? What was it like? It wasn't Seattle. Brett was Seattle, right? Don't. Let's see what we've got. BY says, I've stopped watching Love is Blind. I think that show is toxic. Don't say that. I'm starting Love is Blind Italy. I got to be honest. I have a little bit of Love is Blind fatigue, but I have to get through it. Jaleesa says, have you guys seen Taylor Swift and Travis? Never fought in 2.5 years together. I don't know why celebs loves claiming that. George Clooney says the same with his wife. I'm like, really? You got twins. You've been together for like a decade and you've never argued. Cap. Cap. Just saying. Ronnie says it's interesting because they seemed really happy. They really did, right? You know, it really goes to show all that glitters is not gold. I feel like that is the theme of today's morning report. I feel like I know it's your like typical username, like B4, like the letter B and a couple of numbers. Yeah, B442, I think, right? I don't know why it's showing up this way now. I feel like Alexa and Brennon had socioeconomic class and compatibility on the show. I think so too. Can I be honest? I don't know why, but I get scammer vibes from Alexa and her family. Her dad was sued out the wazoo over a bunch of like fraudulent business dealings and messy business stuff. I don't believe their money is as long as they want it to be, you know, or they want us to believe that it is. So I don't know, right? And like I said, Brennon's family, they seem to have money. It's just that they're a lot more subtle and whatnot with it. So I don't know. I'm really interested. Like some people, they just want to look like they have money so much, right? Bree, thank you. I'm like, I know it starts with a B. Where is it? Damn, thank you. Bree. I have to say it like 10 times so I don't forget. Bree. Thanks, Bill. Star says, these stories reiterate to me to enjoy being happily single. Glad I never settled. And I love that for you, girl. I love that for you. And it's true. You shouldn't settle, you know, and this is sad though, because he was really giving our girl princess treatment, right? Like he seemed to really, really adore her. So I wonder what went down. Listen though, her personality is shit. Okay. I'm not going to lie. Her personality is terrible. It's atrocious. And he seemed to kind of like morph himself to kind of like be acceptable to her and her world of like wannabe Kardashians and whatnot. So I do wonder if like he got sick and tired of it. At the end of the day, he's a simple man, right? With his own set of values. And so maybe they just didn't mesh after all. And like when you have a kid and you think about like the way you want to raise that kid versus the way the other person wants to raise that kid. And you go, oh my God, what the hell was I thinking? We have completely different viewpoints. Like no, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there was a certain ick that suddenly hit. We are not coming for Princess Henry, Meghan Markle. No, what are you talking about? Influencers lie so much. They should know they'll be found out eventually. Kim Kardashian. Oh no. Listen, Meghan Markle is a queen, the queen of all queens. She is not a liar. Take that back. But he says modern diamonds have engraved serial numbers. Where are the diamonds? Ooh. I literally have no clue. I wish I knew. Listen, I have not kept up with the show as much as, the whole heist thing as much as I should have. Jaleesa says, Love is Blind is so boring. After season 1, I couldn't stick to it. Damn, y'all really don't care about this like that. Like, there have been such good seasons. I'm so sad y'all aren't really watching it like that. Thank you, Shay. Okay, so they were in Dallas, Texas. Listen, Texas seems so cool. Dallas, Houston, all of it. It seems so cool. Listen, good luck to the two of them. I think they'll be fine. I think that Brennon's going to be able to remarry quickly. He's going to find himself a nice little blonde girl who wears a cowboy hat with like one of those, you know, flowy dresses and some cowboy boots. What's the name of that lady? Charlie Kirk's widow, like that. I think he'll find himself a chick like that. Ali says they probably don't fight because it's a contract. And he has wanting any poorly written songs about him. He doesn't want any. Speaking of this like relationship being a contract, I have something in mind about it, and I really want to find the time to make that video. I want to put out some documentary videos while I'm away in Spain for Christmas, and I have to write a note to self about that relationship and all the fakeness of it. SW says maybe he saw that and wants out. I think so too. I think sometimes you can just get the ick. You see the values that some people are, that somebody's imparting on your child, and you're like, oh God, what the hell is this? You fight about it. They're not budging. You're not budging. Like maybe somebody wants to spank a child, the other doesn't. That type of stuff. Like, or somebody wants the kid to be so looks focused or so vapid, and the other one doesn't. Like this type of stuff, right? Which people. Allie, you really don't believe her. Damn. Allie is not here for Kim at all. Damn. Oh, Lord. Anyway, you guys, listen, I have had the best time chatting with you. Thank y'all so much for being here for another episode of The Morning Report. If you enjoyed today's show, please don't forget to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. And, as usual, I'm really, really looking forward to being back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk more about the day's hottest stories. Take good care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.